Hey, David, how you doing today?
Great, Mike. I wanted to ask a question that's come from several calls where I thought I had heard you and probably Mitch mentioning 10% as the rate that you're charging now. And if I heard that correctly, did that come down from 10.5% at one time down to 10% as the amount of interest that you typically charge?
Yeah, we were at 10.5 for a long time, but we were having trouble with because interest rates got so low, we were having trouble
Yes.
with our RMLO, so we dropped down to 10. And if interest rates go back up, we'll do the same.
Okay, that's kind of what I was guessing. My RMLO is not as sharp, I guess, because he hasn't called me on that yet.
Oh, really?
Yep. But I have not sent a lot of stuff to him. But I've got one that I just sent in a couple of days ago. So we'll see. But if he comes back to me and says something, I'm not surprised. But I was pretty sure that I had heard you mention 10% instead of 10.5. So I figured that maybe that had something to do with it.
Yes, that's why for right now.
Okay. All right. I'll see what happens on the one I have out. I had a little bit of a happy dance victory, which I should mention. I had a house that was adopted by a bunch of druggies. They would crash the house and use it as
you talked about
hangout
that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes. And this is the story of this is the value of being close to the neighbors, because I talked to neighbors on both sides, and they were both aware and shaken by this. And I got one of them was afraid to call me, but the one on the other side agreed to call me if he saw anything at all funny. And just a day later, I got a call about 7 o'clock at night, and he said he heard a sound of a big truck that he'd heard over there before. So I went driving over there about 20 minutes away, and kind of parked where I couldn't be seen, and I walked around where I could see. Yep, there was a truck hiding in the back of the house. So I called the sheriff. This is just outside the city limits, and the end of the story is within 45 minutes we had four sheriff's cars, 2 drugged out people in handcuffs, and I haven't had trouble there since. I think the word got out to their little community: don't mess around there, because they're going to get you. And so that was kind of a happy ending. I had my clean out guys in there 2 days later, cleaning up the mess, and have listing the house on the market right now, trying to sell it as is. But the moral of the story for me is, if you've got a problem like that, I guess any empty house sitting, if you can get the neighbors to be your watchdogs and give you a call if there's a problem, you're ahead. So.
No, neighbors are so valuable. It's unbelievable how much they can help.
Yes. So that was my happy story for the night. I'll sign off.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
We try to meet neighbors on every single house we ever do. We kind of go bang on the door and just say, hey, we're going to fix up the house, we're trying to improve the neighborhood, give them our spiel. It's done 3 different things for us. We've been able to make some good connections. People look out for our houses, but we've also bought a lot of houses out that way. There's one guy, we were buying a house from a drug addict, and he knocked on the door. We knocked on the door, started talking to him. He says, I put in water softeners. We actually helped sell 4 or 5 water softeners for him to just people we know. We keep in touch with him to this day. He turned around and wound up selling 2 or 3 houses to us that he inherited. So get with those neighbors if you can. It's a huge, huge advantage to do so. So, all right, we'll keep rolling here. Star 2 to raise your hand with any questions, comments. Get going with *2 to raise your hand. Kind of slow this evening. All righty. We've got a. How you doing?
Here I go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, this is Randy out of Midland. How you doing?
Hey, good man. How y'all doing over there?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Hey, I just had a question. I've often wondered, I've heard different things about lease options in Texas. So, I did notice that Mitch sent out an email today talking about some lease options. But how do you guys handle those? I've always heard it's best to buy owner financing, sell owner financing. But what do you think about sandwich lease options in Texas?
So that would be a better question for Mitch next week. All him and I have ever done is owner finance because the foreclosure process is so easy here. Now, obviously, in the middle of a pandemic, it's been a little harder to foreclose. So that might be something to discuss further next week, and I'll shoot him a text on it to discuss it next week because that's a little out of my wheelhouse. I'm not an expert in them because I've never done them. I've never had to. It's been so easy to foreclose that we do lots of. We've just avoided them here because of the paperwork hassle of them, But it might be something to explore with the current conditions of where we're at.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bring it up to Mitch next week.
All right, and like I said, I'll text you. I'm sorry I couldn't be
yeah.
more help on that one, but I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction.
Oh, no problem, Mike. Thanks.
All right, thank you.